talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Hey, beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video, it is an interesting video, and I need everybody to watch it, especially if you're single or you're child free and all that. I need you to watch this video because a lot of times as women, we've been put in the box that the only thing we're meant to do is to have kids and be a husband. So this video is about the Michelle Obama and her brother podcast, talking to Tracy Ellis Ross. I don't know, I always call her Tracy Ross. And in this podcast, she was talking about how it feels to be a single woman and not having a child, not having a partner, not having a husband. And she also wanted to talk about how now our preference is dating younger men, because she's in her 50s, that our preference now is dating younger men and the reason why she dates younger men. And she wanted to talk about how dating younger men, it's a lot, they have a mindset that is close to her than dating men our age, because dating men our age are still stuck in the so-called traditional way, which is not something that aligns with her. And she wanted to talk about how sometimes she grieves being alone and not having the whole society standard of a husband and wife, because like Will said, it's something that has been engraved in us, and sometimes you just feel like maybe you're doing something wrong or maybe something is wrong with you. She wanted to talk about that, and this has struck an entire conversation, and people are even comparing her to Shannon Sharp. I know somebody will say that's not how they pronounce that, but okay, Shannon Sharp. Okay, saying that, oh, Shannon Sharp is dating younger girls, and Tracy Ross is dating younger men and all that. And for me, I find that conversation really interesting. Shannon Sharp is dating 19 years old, 20 years old girl. And Tracy is not dating that. So I don't know why people are trying to compare that. So let's go see a bit of the clip and then people's response to this entire conversation. And then we'll come back and talk more.
I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Parish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracy's.
It's fun. It's really fun to share.
Tracy tales.
But
you date a younger woman.
But one of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, and I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again. You know, I did dream of my wedding growing up, and that's not to say that I didn't dream of the bigness of my life, but I could have spent a lot more time dreaming of my life. And you know, as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, you know, I'm in a relationship. In a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done, and I think of, I woke up every morning trying to do my best. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know, sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have, and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind. And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends.
My only take on the Michelle Obama and Tracy Ellis Ross interview is a lot of women will not understand Tracy Ellis Ross because they are passive participants in their lives. And someone like Tracee Ellis Ross and like Michelle Obama, before she was married and even after she was married, was a very active participant in their lives and their life story and how their lives shaped up. And you can only be that if you can visualize who you are as a woman, not as a wife, not as a mother, but who you are as a woman. And the sad truth is a lot of women don't have that, right? And time is finite, and you can't get any more of it. And it's going to pass. And a lot of women are not going to have anything to show for it because they refuse to show up for themselves.
I just think it's funny how a certain group of people will say that we're hypocrites if we don't find anything wrong with Tracee Ellis Ross dating younger men, but find something wrong with what Shannon Sharpe was doing. And the truth of the matter is, the men that Tracee Ellis Ross dates is too old for the women that Shannon Sharpe is messing with. Because that's a teenager, okay? Okay. Legally an adult, still a teenager. And you're damn near 60, need your prostate checked. It's weird.
I literally just stepped away from my laptop to come outside and tell you guys this. Tracy Ellis Ross is a gift to us all, especially if you are a woman who has had to mourn a life that society told you that you were going to have. She so eloquently discusses the experience that she's had, and I think it is honestly, I think she's a gift. I honestly think she's an absolute gift to us, and I think we have to protect her, especially as she's being criticised at the moment for dating younger men. And she's not saying she's dating teenagers, unlike Shannon Sharpe. She's saying she's dating men who are younger than her, like by like 5, 10, 15 years or whatever the case is, and yet she's coming under fire. We have to protect Tracee Ellis Ross because she really gives a voice to women who've had to really review and reflect upon their lives and shape their lives to be exactly what they want it to be rather than what society wants it to be. We must protect her at all costs.
I really feel like comprehension is a skill that a lot of people lack nowadays in our society. The fact that this person really had the audacity to compare Tracee Ellis Ross to this man is wild. In the podcast that Tracee Ellis Ross was talking to Michelle Obama and her brother about how she dates young men, she talks about how basically that's her preference, right? She is in her 50s, and if she wanted to date a man that was 10 years younger than her, there's nothing wrong with that because that's her preference, right? And she talks about how the men her age are very, like, there's a lot of toxic masculinity, traditional roles, and she doesn't like that, and that's why she likes to date young. But comparing her to this man is absolutely insane, and I really think that it's all just rooted in misogyny. Because every time I feel like there's an article or Tracee Ellis Ross says something, there's always men angry at her because she chose not to settle and she's just living her best life. Because this absolutely makes zero sense. Comparing these two makes no sense whatsoever, you know?
I wish more women knew that not seeing the life that we thought we would have come to fruition is actually grief. Tracee Ellis Ross just named that particular type of grief. She said that she often finds herself mourning not being partnered and not having children. That type of grief hits very differently, right? You're not missing someone who left, okay? You're missing someone who never even showed up. You're grieving someone who was never even born. And I find it so fascinating because being single in this society is such a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, it is glamorized. It's soft life, me era, solo travel vibes, all the things. And then on the other hand, it's stigmatized, quietly judged, like there has to be something wrong with you, which we know that that's not the case, right? But the craziest part is that for this type of grief, there is no ritual. There is no funeral or memorial service like when we lose somebody in the physical realm. There is no divorce party when you finally leave that man. No outpouring of love and gifts and support when you miscarry a child. There is no closure. Even as a friend, I've had to check myself, right? Because my instinct is to fix it, to throw a solution at it, to cheerlead, to play matchmaker, and make sure that they know that they are so much more than being someone's wife, being someone's mother. But real support is just sitting in it, sitting in the discomfort. It's to say, I see you. Not necessarily, oh girl, be patient, he's coming when the time is right, because that's not necessarily the case either. Because here's the truth, being partnered does not guarantee you won't be lonely. Shout out to Cecilia Regina and her Lonely Wife series. If you know, you know. So maybe the real life, the real glow up is in learning to grieve what never was, what never might be, and still learning to build a beautiful life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This clip of Tracy Ellis Ross talking about why she likes to date younger men instead of older men on a podcast with Michelle Obama, which is random as shit to me. Like, what's the former first lady doing on a podcast, right? But whatever. But in the clip, she's talking about how she likes to date younger men instead of older men because of toxic masculinity or whatever, right? And I'm here to tell you that's complete bullshit, right? There's only one reason older people date younger people outside of a genuine love or compatibility, right? That's because of the big difference in power dynamic, right? Everyone likes to be in charge. Everyone likes to have the upper hand, men or women. I know you guys like to think this is an exclusive thing to men, but women like to be in charge just as much as men, and they like to run things how they want to when they're in charge, right? That's just nature, right? So when you date someone younger than you, right, you are typically ahead of them in life, right? You're more financially stable. You have a lot more life experience. So they're going to take a lot of the shit that you say at face value with a lot less resistance, right? Compared to someone that's on your level, they're not going to just accept things as you say them. If someone on your level, notices that you're just full of shit, they're going to call you out on it, right? Where someone that's much younger than you might just accept it because they don't want to rock the boat. They might think they're being immature. So that's why she likes to date younger men. Not because of all that other nonsense, right? I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio's been doing this shit for years, right? That's just how it works. Everyone likes to be in charge. Everyone likes to have power. That's it. It's not that deep.
That often I date younger men.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
First and foremost, I want to shout out Michelle Obama and Tracy Ellis for actually having the interview and having the guts to talk about what it is to be a Black woman with choices, what it is to be a Black woman living a full, robust, and very rich life, unapologetically yourself, right? It was so refreshing and validating to hear that. But shout out to Tracy when she talks about, why she dates younger men. They have a lot more up here than some of these old men. Who just demands that you be a toy on their arm so that all their friends can see the beautiful woman that you bring into a room. Mm-hmm. Younger men are just doing the damn thing, not just in bed, but also out of bed, not just in your mind, but also out of your mind, So I just want to shout out Tracy because I thought that was so bold of her to admit that there is a beautiful dynamic between a young man and an older woman that often in society we can't talk about, right? Whereas men are able to say, I love younger women. I love girls who are my daughter's age, and everybody understands that, oh, yeah. But let a woman say the same thing, and it's like, what? How dare you? So shout out to Tracy and Michelle Obama. I cannot tell y'all enough. If you haven't watched the interview, it is on YouTube. Michelle Obama station. Go subscribe. Make yourself happy. It's 55 minutes and I think like 34 or 43 seconds.
If I was to give all women around the world a quick TED talk, it would be titled, Don't Settle for the First Platter of Options. Why? Because it takes courage for the life you want to live. And if that saying sounds familiar, it was a conversation that was brought up in the Michelle Obama podcast on the Tracy Ellis Ross episode. And she briefly talks about, there are moments, even though she's happy today, there are moments where she grieves and she reminisces, or moments where she thought she was going to get married at a particular time, or there was a desire to have children at a particular time. And then you wake up and realize, okay, that hasn't happened. However, it takes courage to live the life that you want to live. And then I thought to myself, okay, let's unpack that. The courage, where does it come from? And it comes from saying no to the first platter of options that is handed to you as a woman on planet Earth. From young, we're conditioned to think that the only trajectory in our life is to do well in school, have a little bit of a career, have a cute career, get married and have children. Mm-hmm. And then it goes a little bit quiet. The platter of options start to dwindle a little bit. And that's how you have women all around the world waking up and asking themselves, who am I besides mum and wife. So I think saying no to the first platter of options allows you to screen the partner that you want to marry longer, allows you to build an experience of life, build a portfolio of lessons that you can now hand over to your children. And it also gives you time to sit with yourself and ask yourself if the options that are on the platter right now that society are telling you to gobble up and consume and add to your life is actually what you want. Because how are we as women supposed to come to the conclusion that we may not want kids, or we may not want marriage, or we may not want to do it in a particular order if we're saying yes immediately? So take your time. Have a gander with the options. Think of it like a buffet. Don't say yes to the first platter of options.
I don't understand why there's so many men and even some women that are like, oh my God, no, it's because she's washed up because she's 54. First of all, aging is a blessing. Let's start there. Second, not everybody wants kids. Even if at one point in your life you dreamed of children and you don't have them now, doesn't make you less of a woman. And it doesn't make you less fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? She's financially stable, and yes, she is seeking a partner at this time. If she changes her mind, she could always get a surrogate because she has the funds to do so. My whole thing is a lot of people settle, and that's where everybody is like missing the point in the whole concept. A lot of y'all settle because everyone's like, well, relationships are easy. Of course it's easy to get into a relationship. Of course people are different and they're going to argue at sometimes. But some of y'all settle so low just to have children and a husband, children and a partner, just to say you have somebody. And that's the difference between you and her. And financially was probably the difference between you and her. Even some women with money still settle for men cheating, having babies on them, or in the name of God, which I just actually seen a clip where this girl was like, yeah, I used to iron my clothes so my man could go to his side chick because God was telling me. It's psychosis. I'm telling you, we were made to believe that the patriarchy is always right. She's financially stable. If she wants to have children, she could always have them. She doesn't want them at this point in her life, and that's absolutely okay. Now, when it comes to an aspect of a man, do I think there's good men out there? Absolutely. Maybe 25%, somewhere over rainbow. But right now, she can't find anyone. On top of that, she said in her age group, a lot of men that are her age group, 50s, and even I'll say a lot of Gen X going up to boomers are very misogynistic. A lot of men right now are going to therapy that are millennials and they're unlearning, but some aren't, and some are following down the same track. She doesn't want to be a caretaker. She just wants to equal. That's all she's saying. I don't know why that has to be an argument. I think that is projecting from a lot of people in the comments, because at the end of the day, it's not hard to find a partner, but it is hard to find good people. In general, why do you think a lot of us are friendless? Why do you think a lot of us are single? Why do you think a lot of us are celibate? People will drain you and not even think twice about it. People will drain you, and it's hard to bounce back. They will mess up your finances. They could unalive you. Y'all watch them documentaries? It's hard finding a good person. So I don't understand why is it so trivial for y'all to believe that.
Wow. Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts about this conversation down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thoughts. I love this conversation because as women, even as me, as a married woman, like my friends would say, I'm a married single woman that have choose herself, that has choose to be our authentic self, to live our authentic life. I have gotten a lot of pushback from society, from even some family members, from friends that will say some things. And when we talk about dating younger men and all that, I don't even understand why people are comparing her to Chanam Shark. Chanam Shark is doing it because it feels like, oh, I can get my groove on, like, oh, those ones that listen, I can easily control them. And sometimes it's not all about control. Like Tracy Rock said, a lot of men our age range are very the old school way, where that's not what she's looking for. And the truth is that as a woman, it's good for us to be very intentional about our life. That's something we're very big on here. Be very intentional about our life and what we want and how we want to navigate things and what we genuinely want. And I know society has already printed what we should want out, but the truth is that that is not what some of us want. Some of us actually want other things from life than just being a wife, a mother, and all that. And the truth is that a lot of women have conformed to what society wants us to have than really living their authentic self. And that's why I would say personally, I'm living my authentic self, and I feel like it shows in my life, and it shows the way I carry myself and the way I come across. Because I know of women that have given up their life, given up their purpose for being a mother and being a wife. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being that, but what I'm saying that a lot of women lose their focus just because they want to have a partner, that they don't live their authentic self and they don't live their purpose. Someone like Tracy Ross, she's already like being very intentional with her life. She knows exactly what she wants, and if she's not going to get what she wants, she is fine being okay. A lot of the time, people have make being by yourself, being alone, really scary. Like, oh, why you won't be by yourself? Da da da. Who's going to? But the truth is that I also appreciate the fact that she owned up to, like, sometimes there's some little type of grief that comes and you realize that, oof, I'm by myself, I'm on my own. So, like, how are we going to do this? But the truth is that one thing that is consistent in her story is that she picks herself and she's very intentional. She's not going to say because there's a 1 minute of grief that she's grieving being by herself, not having a husband, kids, and all that, then she's going to be with just anybody so that she can have that and still be in misery. She can still have that short brief and still go ahead and live a happily, healthy life for herself. And if being with a younger man is something that gives her peace, that she doesn't have to always communicate what she wants from the relationship, or always communicate how she wants the relationship to be more of a partnership than to be, I'm up here and you are up here, then why not? She's not dating a 19 years old or a 20 years old. I don't get it. Those are kids, and that's the difference between her and Shannon Shark. She's not going to date. If she's dating someone in their 30s, that's 20 years older, 20 years plus older. 30 years old is a grown man. You get what I'm saying? It's a grown man that has made a decision to be with an older woman. And there are some men that likes it. So I don't even understand the fact where people are trying to give her a pushback, try to talk down on it and all that. But that's just what it is. When it comes to men doing it, it's almost like it's a preference. It's a preference. But when a woman is doing it, it's like, okay. And that's not to say that women that date way younger men, like the Aisha girl that went to try to trap a 19 years old, that's a predator move. But I'm talking about a grown woman that knows exactly what she wants, that she's very intentional in her life, with her life and what she wants. And like, you know what, I understand the men my age range, they are not looking for women with my mindset, with who I am. Then I'm going to go for men that are open-minded, that are looking for women, and those men are also very welcoming. So why not? So ladies, see, what until you should gather from this conversation is the fact that you can choose yourself, you can pick yourself, and not be conformed to what society expects you, and you can still be happy. And I do like the fact that there are lots of women coming up to really speak up on this. Like I myself, a lot of people, like, being married is not what defines me. And even when you see me on a regular day-to-day basis, you can never tell I'm married, because being married is not who I am. It's not what defines me as a person. It's a journey I'm on in my life, and it's fine. I don't have to have other purpose in my life, like being honest with women. And I feel like this is literally my calling, like being honest with women, letting women know that you can have a voice, you can be your authentic self, you can live your authentic life and still be happy. And the truth is that this is not something I saw growing up as a child. And I'm really struggling to really get together to really go into vlogs so that you guys can really have an insight of my life. This is not something I saw as a child growing up or as a young girl growing up. And I remember as a young girl growing up, it seems like almost impossible for me to live my authentic self, and I have to conform to what society wants. And I get people saying that, oh, Destiny, but you've been pregnant before, you're married, da, da, da. See, you can still wanted those things in life, because that's how we're raised, to naturally want those things. And then got to learn and say, you know what, yeah, I think I have more purpose in life than to just being a mother, being a wife and all that. And I want to go on a different path. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with being those things, but there's some of us that's not just the only thing we're made to do in life. We're made to do other things. And I feel like this is one of them, to be really honest and let other women, let other girls know that they can live their authentic self. And I do appreciate Michelle Obama and Tracy Ross coming to really have this conversation. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations like this. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.